Hey everybody, welcome back to a Let's Draw with Soulful. How's everybody doing? I hope you're all doing really, good and you're comfy in your homes and you're not worrying too much about everything that's going on in the world. Today, I want to simply talk about the concept of being limitless. This is something that really, I think a lot of creative people, artists, musicians, even tarot readers. Hey, I'm also a tarot reader. You can find my tarot readings now on my page. There will be schedule for them, but I don't want to do too much ad talking here about my channel. Really, limitless. What does that mean to you? What does it mean to be limitless? I think that we're used to growing up with limits. And while having limits, rules, certain things in place are good for us on the whole, sometimes they can really hinder us, not only as a society, but also who's making the limits, who's making the rules. But I'm more talking about inner limitations, because once you learn to go inside yourself, you really figure out you're actually quite limitless. And we hear a lot of people talking about your own inner universe, your own inner world. And I think a lot of creative people really know what this is like, to have your own inner world, your own creations inside this inner world. And you can express this as much as you want on the external world, especially if you are a creator. And you can still express this even if you don't draw, even if you don't create music or make films or whatever. It doesn't matter what it is that you're going to create. Love, okay? The energy that you create for yourself, for others, is the ultimate expression. And I think we have a lot's changing. A lot of people are really starting to understand this, that the external is not what defines us. When I was younger, and we all go through this, we think these clothes define me, this group of people I hang out defines me, these people that I talk to about specific hobbies or anything, these are all part of my personality, but pushing beyond personality and beginning to understand that there's more, and a personality, if you put too many limits on yourself, then you will box yourself in. Now, I'm not going to diss the MBTI, okay? A lot of people have taken the MBTI test. I've had friends that were obsessed with MBTI. A lot of people are obsessed with it online. But within systems, okay, and there's a bigger picture to what I'm saying here. Within systems like MBTI, a lot of people go a little crazy with the box that they've put themselves in, with the label they've put themselves in. And then they run around staying within a certain confine, these little walls that say, I am ENFP, ESFP, INTJ, INFJ, and some people I've even met, they think that, well, one is more unique than the other, but really, and it's a cool base, okay, the system to really study. But from what I've learned in my own growth and my own studies, is that humans we're more multifaceted than we give ourselves credit for. And aspects of ourselves are always present and always shifting. So you may find yourself shifting pieces of yourself around until you realize that is either a lesser part of you that hasn't been integrated, or a part of you that you have integrated. So if we look at reality in a little box of saying I am only an INFP. Okay. If you're curious what that means, you'll have to look up the MBTI test. I don't want to have to sit here explaining it to you guys. But if you look it up, you'll see what I mean. It's a certain way of defining personality and the way the brain takes in information. And some of it, it's very true. It's your basis. However, all aspects of these other personality types can be accessed by any other personality type. You're not limited to only thinking one way and perceiving information in one way. If you allow yourself to be limited by the external, your internal world, gets stifled. You shut it down. So I think that it's important to remember how limitless we are. I have to think about that when I go do my art. I think about, do I want rules on this art, or do I want to just let it flow? This drawing here you see it's just literally me allowing myself to draw whatever I want. I'm not taking the time to put a bunch of limitations on this specific piece. And now, yes, it is good to have some rules if you're drawing a specific thing, obviously, but there's always two sides to it. We are limited but limitless as humans, and we're walking a fine line between those two aspects. And I think that makes it hard for people to find peace internally with what it is that they're doing in their life, because they always think, is it this way that I'm supposed to do it, or is it that way? But the thing is you can do it any way you want. You really can. I mean, within reason, of course. You don't want to do something that hurts somebody, hurts somebody else, or, really something that's not a good idea. I mean, if you want, but I didn't encourage you. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I don't want to hear like, hey, Soulful told me it was okay for me to go and rob a bank because I was limitless. Well, okay, there are some things in reality that you might want to think about before you do it. But creatively, you really are limitless. We all are. And we have a society that's taught us that we are limited, when this just is not true. You can be as limitless as you want once you start diving deep into your own ocean and discovering the dark and the light inside you and how to navigate both. It will help you to navigate your own creative journey and whatever it is that you want to create or do. And if you have many talents, what's limiting you from doing just one, or from doing more than one? Why are you limiting yourself? You don't have to. You don't have to fall into a label. You don't have to fall into all these so many labels that have been created these days for things. But why? Do we need that more segregation, more separation, more, hey, I'm unique because of this label? When really, truly, internally, you are limitless inside, and all of those labels really mean shit. They don't mean anything. And when we might want to classify things so that we can understand them, but can you do that inside your own imaginative world? Label every single little thing and then put it in a box and say that goes on that shelf and this goes on that shelf? Sure, okay. Some people, they might find that fun. You could do that, organize it. But it's still limitless. It's still limitless. And I think that's why a lot of people probably find me strange when they ask me, are you afraid of death? And I say, no, I'm not. I'm just not. There was a time I was, but my experience is uncovering the truth of reality through limitless experience will show you that death itself is a fear we've created on this planet. And that's the ultimate limitation that we've put on ourselves. Without understanding that we truly are limitless, and this is in my experience and the wisdom that I've gained time and time again, is that death is the ultimate limiter. Death is what keeps people on a wheel, okay, of suffering, because people think they have to do all these things before it shows up. I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to make sure I do this with my life, I have to make this money, I have to do this, and I have to do that. Well, really, it's just not that true. And when I say it, you'll be back again, you probably will. And if you haven't, good. You're escaping. No, you're escaping the limits. But truly, we all are limitless. And what you choose to do with yourself is up to you. It's not up to society. It's not up to your parents. It's not up to your partners. It is entirely up to you how much you want to limit yourself or how much you don't want to limit yourself inside.